Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. So today we are going to create an OTP UI. So here already you can see the UI, and here we will have all the features that you will see in a traditional OTP UI. So like whenever I will provide any kind of value, it will automatically go to the next input, you can see, and also whenever I will clear out the value, it will automatically go to the previous input, you can see. Great. And also here we will have features like whenever I want to paste my OTP, like if I copy this text and paste it here, it will automatically do that. You can see it will automatically go to all the inputs and it will enter the value for us. If I do it with this one, let me paste it now, you can see it is doing its job. So yeah, that's what we will make in this video, a nice interesting OTP UI using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And also this project is a part of our 30 days 30 submits repository. So if you want to boost your HTML, CSS and JavaScript skill by creating this kind of a small JavaScript application or components, you can actually check out this repository. I will link it in the description. So without further ado, let's get started. So right now here we have our HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So first of all, in our HTML, so let's get the markups. So here in our title, so let's say that in the title it will be OTP UI. So that's what we are going to make here. And once I do that, now if I refresh, now the title is OTP UI. Great. And after that, inside the body, let's create a section, and inside the section I will have a div with a class of container, and inside this container we will have our first h1, which is the title. So this will be the title where we will say enter OTP, and we will have a class here. So the class will be title as well. So after that we will have a form here. So this form will not have any kind of action, where we will have an ID. So this is for our JavaScript so that we can get this form. So OTP form, so this will be the ID. And after that, inside the form we will have our input, and this will be our individual OTP input. So the type is text, which is fine, and after that we'll have a class which will be OTP input, and after that we'll have a max length of 1. So that's what it will be, and we will copy that and paste it. And let's say that I will have 5. So now we have all of our inputs. So we have 5 inputs, and after that we will have a button. So after the form, let's go to and create a button where we will have a ID, and this will be verify button. Inside the button we'll have a text where we'll have verify OTP. So we have our button. After that we will go to our CSS, but before we go to CSS, let's actually link the CSS file, and now we have our CSS linked with that. So here first of all I will select all of the element, and after that I will say margin will be 0, padding will be 0, and box sizing will be border box, and it will reset all the padding, margin and the box sizing, as you can see here. So after that we will get a font here. So for that I will go to Google Fonts and search for the inter font that we are going to use, but if you want to use any other font, you can do that. So come here in the inter font and grab a font weight. So I will use regular one, and we need to import. So just grab the import and in the top paste that. So now we have our font, and to use that I will say font family will be the inter. Great. So now all of the font here, you can see all of them is now using the inter font family. So after that the body will have a width of 100%, and also the background color will be the, let me copy the background color, and here we will have the background color. So this will be a dark background color here, you can see. So color will be white, so this will be our font color. So now we have our font color white. Great. So let's go to our section, and this is the only section in our application, so that's why I can just select that section with the tag, and here I will say width will be 100%, and also mean height will be 100 VH, and align items, or before that we need to make sure that it is having the display flex. Align items center, justify content center, so now it is in the center, you can see. So after that I will go to our container, so dot container, and inside the container we will have a border radius of 12 pixel and background color of, let me copy the background color and paste it over here. So now we have this background color for our container, and also here we need to make sure that the width is 90%. So if I do that, so if I do it, you will see there we are having 90% width, and also we do not want the whole 90% width, and what we will say is, we will say the max width will be the 500 pixel. So now it should be fine. So max width is 500, but whenever we will have, so you can see max width is 500, but whenever we will go to inside something like a small device, you can see the width is 90% and remaining 10% is here and here. So great. And after that I will say the padding all over the place. Here will be the 50 pixel and the 20 pixel. Great. Now we have our padding 20 pixel in the left and right, 50 in the top and bottom. So text align will be the center, so everything will be now in the center. Great. So let's also style the title. So here first of all, inside this title we will say the font size will be 25 pixel, and also the margin bottom will be 30 pixel. Now we have some space after the title, and let's say that for our OTP form. So for our OTP form, first of all, let's say that the width will be 100%, and after that we'll have the display flags. So if I do display flags, you can see all of them are now in a row. So what I'll do is I'll actually make them in a proper size, but before that let's say that gap will be 20 pixel, and now we have some gaps, and after that align items will be the center, and justify content will be the center as well. So great. Now everything is now in center, and after that let's go to the actual input. So inside the OTP and form, OTP form, inside that we have our actual input, and here I will say the border will be none first of all, and background color, so background color, let me copy that and paste it over here. Great. And after that we'll have the color will be white, and after that here I will say we'll have a font size of 32 pixel. So now the font is actually a little bit bigger, and that's why we also can see that the input is bigger. And after that we have our text alignment center, and padding will be 10 pixel, and width will be 100%. If I do that, you can see now all of them are now inside of our container, these 5 inputs. Great. And after that I will say the max width will be the 70 pixel for each of them, and after that the height will be, let's say that the height will be also 70 pixel. Great, looking good. And border radius, let's make it 4 pixel. So finally let's give it a outline. So outline will be, so this will be a color with 2 pixel width. Let me copy that and paste it over here. So 2 pixel width, and it is a solid outline, and the color will be a little bit white or grayish color, you can say. So these are now the inputs, and it is looking good. And after that, whenever I will do focus in the input, I want to change the outline color. So for that I will go to the OTP form and input, and whenever I will focus, the focus visible, so I will say outline will be 2 pixel solid and the color will be the royal blue. So if I do that, whenever I will focus, you can see the color of this outline is now royal blue. Great. Actually here I think we do not need to do the whole thing, because I already said that it will be 2 pixel and the solid. Here what we can do that is we can just say color will be the royal blue. Now all the other properties like 2 pixel width and the solid will be same, but the color of the outline will be changed. So now if I save that, let's see, yep, it is working same. Great. So after that, here we will do the OTP form. OTP form, inside that we have our input. So we will add a field class later with the JavaScript, but whenever we will add this class, we will say we want to change the color of our outline. So if we have this field class with this input, the color will be green. So let me copy the color and here let's paste it, and if I do that, so whenever I will actually have this class field, it will be a green outline. We will see it whenever we will add the class with our JavaScript. So after that, let's go to our verify button. So verify button. So here the cursor will be pointer, and after that display will be inline block, and also we will have some margin in the top, so around 30 pixel. Good. And background color will be the royal blue. So royal blue, yep, looking good, and the color will be white instead of black. Fine. And some padding, so the padding will be 7 pixel and 10 pixel. Great. And finally we do not want to have this border, so I will say border will be none. Good. And the border areas will be the 4 pixel, and finally font size will be 16 pixel. So if I do it correctly, yep, so this is what we have. So that's all for our CSS, and it is looking good. You can see we will not do any kind of mobile responsive CSS, but if you want to do that, you can do it. So once we have that, after that I will go to our JavaScript, and before we go to the JavaScript, we need to link the JS file. So here I will say script source, and I will have main.js linked with that. So in our main.javascript, first of all we need to select all the stuff that we are going to use, so like the form. So document.querySelector, and here we will use the ID that we already added. So the ID is OTP form, and same thing after that it will be the inputs. So for our inputs, we have multiple inputs here, you can see. So to grab all of them, instead of query selector, we will use query selector all. So make sure that query selector all, and after that we need to provide the selector here. So it is the OTP input, like that. And once we have that, after that we need last one. So the last one will be the verify button. Verify button, and here I will say, so here let's change the selector, and the selector for this verify button will be the verify button. That's all. So now we have these 3 elements, and after that we need to add the event listener in our form. So whenever we will do or we will provide any kind of value inside of these inputs, we want to catch that. So for that I will say form.add event listener. We will add event listener to the form, which is the input event listener. So if we have any kind of change in the inputs, it will trigger this event. So here I will say inside the callback, first of all we will get the target, so the element I mean. So in this case, so let's say that the target equals to e.target. So if we do any kind of changes in this input, so the target will be the input, and after that the value, so value will be e dot or we can say target dot value, like that. So once we have these two stuff, we can console log these two and see what we are getting. So target and the value. So if I open up the console here, so here in our console, let's say that if I change or if I provide any kind of value in this input, so here you can see we have an object. Inside that we have two things. We have target, so this is the target, and also we have this value. So the value is g, which is the value that we have here, and the target is the HTML element that we have, this one. So great, so it is working. And after that here, so let's say that, let's delete this line. So after that, the first thing that we will do is we will check the value. So if we have any kind of value in this input, we will change the color of the outline. So for that I will have a function. So the function name is the toggle field class. So toggle field class, and inside that we need to pass the target, and we will create the function here. So constant toggle field class, and it will take a field, and here it will check the field value. So here I will say if we have any kind of field dot value, in that case it is field, and we want to change the color of this input. So to change the color of the input, all we need to do is we need to add a class which is the field. So we can say field dot class list dot add, and the class name is the field, not like that, field like that. Okay, so if we do not have any kind of value, so else we will remove the field class that we have. So instead of add, I will remove that. So that's what we want. So now if I do any kind of if I provide any kind of value here, you can see, okay, we are having some problem. Okay, I see what is the problem here. So it is adding the field class, but whenever I will go to the CSS, the field class is actually having the outline with only the color. It should be outline color. Now we should have a color whenever it is filled. So let's try it one more time. So let's provide a value. Now it is green. If I come here and provide a value, it is green, and if I remove the value, it is now blue. So that's what it will do. So it will add the field class if we have value, otherwise it will remove the field class. So great. And after that I will say I will check our next sibling. So if we have any kind of next sibling after the target, so if it is the target, the second one, once we are done with our value, we will go to the next sibling. So for that I need to check if we have any kind of siblings or not. So target dot, I will say next element sibling. So if we have that, I will actually go to the target dot next sibling, and I will do a focus here. So focus like that. So after that, now it will check the next sibling. If we have any kind of next sibling, then it will go to the next sibling. So let's try it. So I already can see that it is working. So if we provide any kind of value here, so let's provide b. Now after that it will go to the next sibling if we have any. Great. If I do one more time, now it is going to the next sibling. Great. So this is fine. And also after that, once we go to the next sibling, after that we need to provide, or we need to do one thing. So every time I will provide any kind of value here, I need to check the OTP. So for that I will create a function. So the name of the function is the verify OTP. So verify OTP like that, and we need to create the function. So let's go to the top here and create the function constant verify OTP, and it will be a function where we will verify our OTP. So here in our verify OTP function, we need to create another function which will check all the inputs, and it will check if everyone is having a value, means everyone is filled. If everyone is not filled, then we will not verify the OTP. So to check that, so here let's actually create the function. Let's say that constant is all input filled. So here inside the function, first of all I will say return. So these inputs which we are getting from the query selector all, here if I actually hover that, you can see what it will return. So it will return a node list. So it is not an array, so which means we will not have all the array method with these inputs. So what I will do is I will actually turn it into an array. So array.from and make it inputs like that. So now it is an array. So now we can say every. So this is a method which is available in the array. So every method, and inside that method, for each of our input, I would say we need to check the item.value, sorry, input.value, like that. So now it will return true if all of them is having a value, otherwise it will return false. So using that, I will say if is all input fields, this one is true, which means all of them are having the value, which is great. Then I will say I need to get the text OTP. So to get the text OTP, I will say constant the OTP equals to get OTP text. So this is another function which we need to create. So constant get OTP text, where we need to loop through. So here we need to loop through each of our inputs. First of all, let's actually create a variable with the name of text, and after that we will loop through. So let's set that inputs dot for each, and here I will say for each of our input or item, let's make it input. For each of our input, I will add the input value with the text that we have here. So I will say text plus equal the input value that we have. Great. And eventually here we will return the text. So now it will get the value from each of our input and it will return the text. So we will store it inside the OTP variable here, and we will do an alert here. So alert will be, let's say that your OTP is the OTP that we have here. Great. And if you want to do anything else, you will do it here. I mean, if you want to verify the OTP or make any kind of request in the backend, you will do it here. So I'm just having an alert just for our use case. So let's actually check it. And before we check, we need to do one more thing here. So we are actually checking if we have any kind of next sibling. So if we have next sibling, then we will actually focus the next sibling. But else what I will do? So else I will say I will do the only verify OTP. So now it will go ahead if we have any kind of next sibling. But if we do not have any kind of next sibling, in that case it will just verify the OTP. So which means it will call this all functions that we created. So let's test it, and if I do or change the value here, okay, it is not having, or we are not having any kind of alert. So let's see what we are doing wrong here. Okay, I can see we are facing an error here. So array.form. Okay, I see what I did wrong. So this is not form, it is from, like that, from. So okay, now let's try it and let's make it something like that. Now we are having our OTP alert. Great. So here I think we can do a little bit refactor. So here you can see we are actually doing this verify OTP for both case, for our if case and also the else case. So for that, I think what we can do is, instead of doing in both case we can remove it from here, and also we can remove the else part, and now it will work same. Let's try it. Let's say now it is working, you can see. So great. So now after that we need to go to our individual input, and we need to say, or we need to add some event listener to the individual input. So let's do that. So let's say that input dot for each, or inputs actually. So inputs dot for each of our input, and this will be the index, and I will name it current index. And here I will say, first of all I will check the, whenever I will loop, I will check the field, I mean it is field or not. Based on that I will add the field class. So I will say toggle field class, and I will provide the input as a field, and after that I will add the event listener for our paste. So let's say that I want to paste this 3000 number in here. So let's actually paste that. So now it is not working, you can see only the first element is actually having the 3. You can see it is not working, so we need to fix that. So let's actually do that. So paste event like that. So whenever we will do any kind of paste in our input, so input dot add event listener, and this is the paste. And if we paste anything, what we want to do, so first thing I will do is I will actually prevent the default behavior. Now we will manually put the value for each of our input, and to do that I will actually loop through one more time. So inputs dot for each, and here for each of our item, and let's actually do something like that, for each of our item, and this is the index for this current loop. So now we have two kind of index, one is the current index and another one is this index, you can see. So here what I will do is I will actually check these two. So we need to make sure that the index is greater than or equal to our current index, and also we have the text that we wanna provide, so the index minus current index, and I will explain it in a moment. And after that, if this two condition returns true, after that I will say item dot focus. We will focus the item, which in our case it is the input actually. So we will focus the input, and now we will add the value to the input. So input, or it is item dot value will be the text, and I will say index minus current index like that. And if we do not have text with this index, in that case I will make it empty. After that, toggle field class, we will toggle the field class based on that, which means if we provide any kind of value, after that it will make it green. And we will verify the OTP, we will try to verify the OTP, and that's all for each of our loop. So now let's actually test it. So let's copy this and try to paste it here, and if I paste it we are having some error. Let's see what we are doing wrong. So text is not defined. So where is text, which is the text? We are not having the text. We need to get the text from this paste event, or from the event actually. So let's say that constant text equals to the event dot clipboard dot clipboard data dot get data, and which kind of data you want. I want the text, so it will get the text inside this text constant, and that's what we are actually using. So if I copy the OTP text, this will be the text here, and now if I try to paste it, okay, we can see the O is working, but we are having some other error. So cannot access the property value, field is undefined. So from line number 26, okay, I can see what is happening. Whenever we are actually having the toggle field class, we need to add, or we need to pass the field, which is the item in our case. So this is the item. So that's what we need to pass, and let's try it one more time. And now if I paste it, now you can see OTP working, or it is actually having the proper value in the proper input. Great. So hello there, I just came back from the future to explain you what I did here a little bit more. So here you can see we are doing a little bit complex stuff in our paste event. So let's say that I want to actually paste the OTP text. So let's actually copy that, and I wanna paste this text in this third input. So if I paste this in the third input, then the current index will be the second, right? So let's write it here. So current index will be the second. Okay, and whenever I will do paste here, what I will do is I will actually loop one more time. So this loop will start from 0 once again. So whenever it is starting from the 0, this index is now 0, and in the first index it will check the current index, which is the 2. So the index must be greater than or equal to the current index. So if it is the 0 index, which means it is not true, so it is not true, then it will not go further. So it will try the second one. Still in the second one the index is 1, so because we know that in the array it starts from the 0 and 1 and it will go on. So for the second one the index is 1, which is still not greater than 2, so that's why it will not go further. But whenever we will come to the index number 2, which is this one, in that case the current index and the index is actually equal, which is the 2. So in our second condition here, we are actually getting the character from the text. So the text is actually this one, which is the copied text, right? So the text that we already copied. So here we are actually checking the index for our text. So if this is the text, then the first character means index 0 character will be the O, index 1 character will be T, and index 2 character will be P, right? So how we can get it? So we will get it by index minus current index. So if we do that, index minus current index, in our case the current index is 2, and also in here the index is also 2. So if I subtract 2 minus 2, which will be the 0, which will be the first index for this text, so it will actually add O here, and after that it will go to the next index, sorry, it will go to the next input. So in the next index, once again it will try to run this condition. So here it is actually greater than our current index. Our current index is 2. Now this index for this input is now 3, so which is greater. So it will pass the test, and after that it will try this condition where we will actually get the character. So the character in our case will be index minus current index, right? So it is 3 minus 2, so which means if I subtract from 3 to 2, and we will get 1, so which will be the index 1, which will be the T, and it will put T here, and it will do the same thing for the third one, and it will add P here. So that's how it will work. And now if I try to do that, let's actually copy it and try to paste it here. Now you can see it is working, OTP. And if I try to do it with the 5-letter word, let's actually try to do that. So if I try to do that with 5-letter word, it should fill all inputs, and once we fill all the inputs, we should see this alert message. So if I do that, now you can see we are seeing the alert message. Your OTP is the enter keyword that we have here. Awesome. So now after that I need to do the backspace. So whenever I will delete any kind of value from this input, I want to do something. So right now it is not having the good user experience. Whenever I am doing backspace, it is actually going, it is not doing anything. But if I try to delete this value, it will go to the next sibling, because here what I am saying is whenever I will change any kind of value in our input, it will try to go to the next sibling. That's what it is doing. But we are not changing any value, we are actually deleting. So in that case we need to handle it manually. So let's actually do that. So here we are having our paste event. After that, inside of our for each, here let's say that we want to have our backspace event when we will delete any kind of value. So backspace event, and let's actually do that. Input.add event listener, and here I will say whenever we will do any kind of key down, what I want to do. So in this callback, first of all I will check what is the key code. e.keycode, if it is 8, which means if it is the backspace, let me actually do it properly. So if it is backspace, in that case I will do something, right? So first of all I will say I will do the prevent default. I will not now it will not actually delete the key code because I just prevent the default behavior. So if I try to delete, okay, still it is deleting, but I do not know why. Okay, it is text 8, but it should be number 8. So now let's try to delete this. Still it is deleting, but why? Okay, I'm having some big problem. So this key code is actually something like key with capital code, capital C code, something like that. So now if I try to delete this, now it is not deleting the word, you can see. So trust me, I'm actually pressing the backspace, but it is not deleting the value. So because we just said that prevent the default behavior, and first thing that I will do is I will actually make the input, I will change the input manually. So input.value and make it empty. So now it will make it empty. And after that, what I want to do, instead of having instead of going next sibling, we need to go to the previous sibling here. So, and before that we need to actually toggle our field class, because now it is empty and it will remove the field class with this. And also we need to make sure that we are providing the input here. So let's actually provide the input like that. And after that we need to check our previous element, I mean previous sibling. So I will say if input dot, if it has any kind of previous sibling, so previous element sibling, and if it is true, then we will focus our previous element. So input dot previous element sibling dot focus. Okay, that is fine. So now if I try to delete that, let me actually save it. So if I try to delete that, now you can see it is actually going back to the previous element. Great. So here we will do all of this thing if it is if we are actually pressing backspace, right? So we are checking it here. If we are pressing backspace, then we will do this. But if we are not pressing any kind of backspace, what we will do? So else we will say we will do the all thing. So here first of all I will check my value and input dot next element sibling, sorry, like that, element sibling. If this is true, then I will say input dot next element sibling dot focus, and I will go ahead. So that's what I will do. So now if I try to do backspace, it is taking us to the previous one, but if I try to do add some more, you can see now it is going to the forward. Great, awesome. So it is looking good. And after that, a tiny part, whenever we will click this verify OTP button, then what we need to do. So let's actually do that. I will say verify OTP dot add event listener. If someone click that, what you want to do? So I will say I will just do the verify OTP. So that's all. So in our verify OTP we will do all the other stuff that we did previously. So now if I try to verify OTP, it will not do anything because it is not filled. So I will fill this and it will instantly verify the OTP. Otherwise if I try to click this, okay, it is not doing anything here. So let me check. cannot access property, add event listener, verify button. So verify button, add, let me actually check it. It is verify button ID. Okay, it should be button, something like that. So now it should select the proper element and we should have the event listener. And if I try to click it now, you can see it is actually showing us the alert that we are having in our verify OTP. So that's it for this video. And now we have our completely functional OTP UI. You can see you can provide any kind of OTP, you can paste your OTP, you can remove OTP, all will work good as you expect. So you do not even need to touch the mouse to operate with this OTP UI. Everything is working, you can see, with the keyboard. Whenever you will do backspace, it will automatically go to the previous element. If you try to add something, it will automatically go to the next element. Great, really great stuff. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, you guys learned something. So if you did, give me a thumbs up and also subscribe the channel to see more video like this one. I hope I will see you very soon in the next video. Till then, take care, bye bye, and Khuda Hafiz.